The Reading Corner is an online initiative by EduBlock's specialized reading, maths, and learning services to help parents learn more about reading and learning issues and how to support their children in their academic journey. Kick off your shoes and settle in every Thursday at 8 pm for some useful tips and interesting topic discussions by our EduBlocks franchisees. Visit our website at www.edublocks.co.za for more articles, tips, and services that we offer. In today's session, we will be covering the effect of reading problems on a child's emotions, hosted by Lizani Miller, educational practitioner at EduBlocks Polokwane. Thank you, Lizani. Over to you.
Good evening. It's so lovely to be here tonight. I just want to tell you a bit more about myself. My name is Lizani Miller. I am the owner of EduBlocks Polokwane, and I did my teaching degree. I completed my teaching degree in 2006, and since then been working with kids and just loved every second of it. I am looking forward to this session tonight. So let me start with our presentation. So the outcomes for tonight's session is we're going to talk about how to recognize behaviors that could be linked to reading problems, explore the link between reading difficulties and your child's emotional well-being, and also what can you as a parent do to help your child. Do any of these phrases maybe sound familiar to you? Like, I don't like school, I hate reading, my tummy aches. Or you maybe got a message from your child's teacher saying that your child is very playful in class, he struggles to focus on the task at hand, or he doesn't complete his work in time. But the thing is that reading and learning are two of the most important things to determine the success in a child's school career. And what we need to understand is that we first learn how to read and then we read to learn. If your child experiences difficulties in this process, it can have an influence on the emotional well-being. Problems with emotional well-being can manifest as low academic self-concept, anxiety. Studies have shown that children with learning difficulties experience a higher level of anxiety. They also experience more frequent somatic symptoms. They will complain about stomach ache, headaches, nausea, and so on. And depression is also a way that emotional problems can manifest. And researchers have constantly linked depression to learning difficulties. They experience constant stress and frustration caused by this learning difficulty. And then they also experience a lot of negativity in the learning environment. Children with learning difficulties may feel left out and they may feel alone, that they are the only ones that struggles and the only ones with a reading or a learning difficulty. And then they may also feel rejected by their teachers or their peers. How can you tell if your child is having difficulties at school? They start to refuse going to school because they want to avoid the difficult situation. They sometimes act out in class, start shouting, start screaming, being mean to other kids. And then what can happen then is that teachers and parents get so focused on the child's behavior or actions that they may not realize that there's actually a learning difficulty present. Another thing is avoidance. We often do not realize that a child who is experiencing reading difficulties will rather choose to be shouted at in class because he is playful or naughty than to be labeled as a child with reading difficulties. Children who struggle will often try to shift the focus from the fact that they are struggling. And then kids who have trouble reading might also avoid reading altogether, especially reading out loud. And that can happen at home, at school. And then, for example, kids may ask to even use the bathroom during the activities that involve reading aloud at school. And then we often see children presenting with psychosomatic symptoms. Children who frequently complain of minor physical discomfort, like tummy ache, tiredness, headaches, but they do not have like a physical illness and they may use the somatic symptoms or complaints to avoid certain situations. As a mom, I can understand that you might feel a bit overwhelmed now or feel that you are alone. But you know what? I want to tell you that there are so many parents in exactly the same situation. It's okay. There are ways to assist your child and to help your child on this journey. I'm sure that you are all asking now, but what can I do? What can I do to help my child? And the best advice that I can give you is to take immediate action. The longer you wait, the harder it's going to become to help your child to overcome a difficulty. I want to also tell you to not push your child too hard. To challenge your child every now and then is great, but if your child wants to read the same book over and over for the 100th time, allow it and let your child feel proud about reading a book from cover to cover without needing your help. And this is the important part where you can build their confidence. And we need to keep our focus on building confidence. When your child is struggling with a book, rather choose an easier book than to overcorrect him all the time. Or maybe do paired reading together where you sit and read a book out loud together until your child can read it fluently. Remember, our focus must absolutely be on building confidence. And then we are also, it's very easy to focus on the negative. So try to reframe phrases and things that you hear or that your child says to reframe it as positive. When your child says maybe, oh, reading is so hard, then rather say, yes, I understand that reading is hard, but I am going to help you. We're going to work together to make a plan to help you get better at it. And it's also important to enjoy the reading time together. Make it real short and light, and you don't want to be heavy-handed about it, especially if your child is being turned off at school. The time that you read together must be the time in the day that your child is looking forward to. So there's ways that you can make it fun. You can, when you read, maybe make some funny noises or record it on your phone and tape back in different voices. It's fun. Laugh together and enjoy the time with one another. As soon as when your child loses interest in reading, the best way to get them motivated again is to include their interest. So go to the bookshop, let your child choose a book and then something that he or she is interested in, and that will definitely help them to just be more motivated again. And celebrate the small wins. Struggling with any skill can make kids feel like they're not smart at all. And to celebrate small wins and praise their effort can help them to feel better about themselves, to build that confidence. When your child is reading, and then you can maybe say, oh, I realized that you got that tricky word correct, and I'm so proud of you. And I want you to remind yourself how far you have come, even if your child has just made relatively small progress. Praise constantly, and this will just improve. This will just encourage your child to just keep on improving. And then it's so important to continue to reassure your child. Make sure your child knows that you are on his side, that you are not going to leave him alone. You are going to walk this journey with him or her, no matter what. This brings us to the end of this week's session. I hope you had a great time and that you learned some tips on helping your child on this journey. For more interesting articles, go to www.edublocks.co.za. Good night.